Horns up and welcome to the last episode of Indian Food Week here on Headbanger's Kitchen. And today's recipe is another vegetarian recipe. And guess what, guys? You can make this without any eggs. Now I know a lot of you guys are confused, but let me just put this out there. I don't discriminate against food. Yep, believe it or not, as much as I dislike being asked for eggless versions of dishes, I love any food that is good and tasty. So today we're going to make a vegetarian recipe that is going to hit it out of the ballpark when it comes to taste. Yep, if you were thinking what I'm thinking, we're going to be making Mumbai's street food special Pav Bhaji. Yes, my friends, that is a dish to die for. It is a bunch of vegetables just mashed together with a lot of butter and eaten with bread, but we don't need no bread because we got keto bread. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's go and make that delicious Keto Pav Bhaji. Oh wait, pav means bread and bhaji means vegetables, and basically you get the idea now. It is bread and vegetables. Oh, and one more thing. Pav Bhaji is normally made with potato, but in our keto world, cauliflower is the new potato. So the first thing you're going to do is take your head of cauliflower, wash it, clean it, and then you want to roughly chop it into small pieces. Because we want to mash this later on, we want to cut it as small as possible. That helps it to cook a lot faster. Anyway, once you're done cutting the cauliflower, it's on to the next step. Now we're going to put our chopped cauliflower in a frying pan, and we're going to turn on the heat, and we're going to add in some water. Now basically what we're doing is we're boiling the cauliflower and cooking it till it is nice and tender. So just cover it and let it cook. After about 10 minutes of cooking, you want to open that up and check the cauliflower. Your knife should cut through it like butter. That's how you know it's cooked and perfect. Nice and tender. Now into this I'm going to add some chopped tomatoes, some chopped green bell peppers, a teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. I'm going to give it all a good seasoning with some salt, and I'm going to add some Pav Bhaji masala. And that's not all. In goes 50 grams of butter, salted butter. And now as you can see, my pan is really full, and if I try to mix everything, I'm going to end up spilling it. So I'm just going to cover it and let it all cook for about 5 minutes together. After about 5 minutes, I'm going to take the lid off, and now I bought this special Pav Bhaji masher. Well, actually it's a potato masher, but you can see it's a little different in shape and it's got these small holes in it. Anyway, in my futile attempt to mash things, I realize it's not going very well. This is not working out the way I wanted to. So anyway, I'm just gonna let it cook for a little bit more. So once it's cooked a little bit more, I've decided to use my old trusty potato masher, and this is doing the job perfectly. So mash everything together. You literally want to make like a mashed vegetable out of it. And of course, the reason the other masher didn't work is because the cauliflower pieces were too large, and anyway it's working right now. So mash everything together and let it all cook. Now as you can see, there's some water left. You basically want to cook this out now till all that water dries up. And this is the first part of the recipe. This is what I like to call the bhaji, the base bhaji. This is the base on which the Pav Bhaji is laid out, or something like that. Anyway, cook that, and once all the water has dried out, we're just going to transfer this to a plate and set it aside. Alright guys, so as you saw, that is a lot of bhaji and it's literally spilling out of my frying pan. So now for the next step, I'm only going to use half that bhaji just so that I don't have an overflowing pan full of pav bhaji. So basically, you will cook this up in 2 batches, or when you start out, you will basically half the recipe. Anyway, I'll write out all the information on headbangerskitchen.com and you can read it in the blog post. Now in that same pan, I'm going to heat up 50 grams of butter, and to this butter I'm going to add about 50 grams of onions, finely chopped red onions. I'm also going to add in some fresh coriander. I'm going to add in some kasuri methi or dried fenugreek leaves. I'm going to add in some pav bhaji masala. Yeah, more of that. And some red chili powder. And then you want to give that all a good mix and let everything fry in that buttery goodness. Now I'm also going to add in 2 drops of food coloring. If you've ever eaten pav bhaji in Mumbai, you will notice it has a red color, and that comes from food coloring. Unfortunately or fortunately, you can completely skip this if you like. Anyway, once the onions have turned translucent, I'm going to add in our bhaji. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm only adding in half the bhaji because otherwise it would overflow from this frying pan. Anyway, add in that bhaji, give it all a good mix, and you want to just let this all cook together for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now once that has done cooking, I'm going to add in some water now. And once again, I'm going to take my potato masher, the special one for the pav bhaji, and I'm going to mash everything really good. Oh yeah, mash it up, mash it up. Ooh, mash it up, mash it up. Yeah. So now it's working properly because, well, the cauliflower was pre-mashed properly. So anyway, you get the idea. So mash it all till it's nice and mashed, and you've got your pav bhaji ready. And I'm just going to finish it off with a squeeze of lime juice, just to give it a little tang, you know, that acidity that you require in rich foods. And we're going to put that pav bhaji in our serving plate and serve it alongside some chopped onions and keto bread. And we're going to finish it with a little knob of butter and some fresh coriander. And there you have it, my friends. Our keto pav bhaji is ready. Alright folks, so it's time to taste this delicious pav bhaji. And I can already see the keto police going crazy. You use so much tomato, you use so much onion, I have calculated the macros beforehand, my friends, and this is literally only about 8 grams of net carbs. How awesome is that? But I digress. The other great thing about this keto pav bhaji is all you have to do is add butter on the top and add to your fat macros, and that's amazing. That's so easy to do. And these little, I don't know if you can see them, check it out. Anyway, this is my sort of improvised keto mug bread. So I made it in the oven and I whipped the egg white separately and mixed it in. But anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. So you take the bread and you use your hands and you dip it into the bhaji. Oh wow, oh, that is amazing. I am one happy camper. This is buttery, it's delicious. I actually do not miss the potato in this pav bhaji. This keto bread goes really well with this, but honestly, you can just eat this bhaji on its own. Guys, if you have never eaten pav bhaji in your life, I want you to make this. And before all of you start commenting, how do I get pav bhaji masala? Can I make my own pav bhaji masala, etc., etc.? On headbangerskitchen.com, in the written recipe, I will give you the Amazon link for where you can buy the pav bhaji masala, because honestly, it's just a pain to make. So you might as well just order 1 packet of pav bhaji masala, and trust me, you can use it to season anything you make at home. Anyway, I've done enough jibber jabber for this episode. I will see you on the next episode of Headbangers Kitchen, where we will not be making any more Indian food. So stay tuned and let's see what I come up with. Cheers and keep cooking.